just love yourself. Love yourself. And that'll just, it's taken me anywhere I needed to go.
What's your name?
My name's Tiffany Burton.
Tiffany?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. I'm Gianna.
Nice to meet you. I like that name.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How long have you been out here in Louisville?
I was born and raised in Louisville. This go around of being homeless would be about 2.5 years.
Okay. And what were you doing before that?
I was in prison and then released. Went to a halfway house and then staying, with family and then, guys here and there. And
Right. Yeah. What were you doing before you went to prison? Like, how was your childhood?
my childhood, fairly normal, I guess. Moved around a lot. I was I'm a granddaughter of a preacher, and so I was in school, church 8 days a week. I'm honor roll student. Not, I stayed at home and read books when other kids were out, like sneaking out of the house and smoking cigarettes. I was at home reading books.
Okay.
So yeah, my dad really wasn't in my life too much as a kid, but later in my early adulthood and the rest of my adult life, he was part of my life.
Okay. So what did you do after you graduated high school?
I did not. I got pregnant at 16. I ended up working at the family business. Got my GED when I got pregnant with my second daughter, which I was 24. And then I went to college. First person in my family at 24.
That's a good accomplishment. Congratulations.
Yeah.
What did you major in?
First I majored in radiography, nuclear medicine. I really liked it, and then of course I got in trouble and I got my felony, and so I couldn't do anything in the medical field anymore.
What can I ask? What happened?
Drugs and an abusive relationship. The felony essentially was not mine; it was his charges, but he gave them to me. He and his friends signed statements and did this CD or whatever, saying that everything was mine because he was going back to prison and he didn't want me on the streets. It was really abusive.
Right.
And so he wanted me in prison while he was in prison so nobody else could have me.
Is he the person who introduced you to drugs?
No. I would have to say that drugs came introduced to me at home.
At what age?
9 years old. I took a half of a Percocet because I had strep throat a lot, and I don't think that my mother wasn't trying to put me on dope. Right. She was just trying to help her child. And then of course marijuana and alcohol, and I say that like it's a requirement, but from the neighborhood that I was from, it was basically the people that I was around, marijuana, alcohol, and then I have a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of social issues, and to me, addiction is mental health. That we're just self-medicating. That's just my opinion, but
I think you're absolutely right.
Thank you. Yeah, and even in the DSM-5, addiction is classified as a mental health thing, and we're not treating it as mental health until we treat it as mental health. We're just going in circles. But with that being said, I started taking Xanaxes. The doctor gave me Valium and Xanaxes because I was just so uptight. I was so nervous. I was so anxious. It was getting to where I couldn't go to school and things like that. So then, we got alcohol with the Xanaxes. And so it just kind of went from there.
At what age was the Xanax?
14.
14.
From a doctor.
Yeah.
From a doctor.
Blues?
Yep.
One?
Footballs. 1 in the morning, 1 in the night.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then that's the way you learned to basically treat the anxiety.
Right, that was my coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they all of a sudden probably took it away from you, or?
Well, and so like at home, I got mom taking the Xanaxes because that was her answer too, and then the pain medication because she had issues with her health, and so at home, like I said, that's what I was introduced. That's what mom did, and that's what the doctor said. So we never even thought to question a doctor. Not in those days, we didn't. Not to tell my age or anything, but Yeah, I was never really taught coping mechanisms. I was just taught to put a pill on top of it, and so then I got a car wreck, and so then the doctor's giving me 10, or I'm sorry, yeah, what was the law then? 8 or 10. At some point it changed, but we'll just say 8 to be safe. 8 blue Watson-10s from the doctor, 8 a day.
8 a day.
8 a day. Yes. So here I'm eating 8 Lortabs, prescribed 8 Lortabs, prescribed 3 footballs a day from a doctor, and I'm not a day over 18.
Would you say, I know you were saying earlier that you're a lot happier not sober, and that should be okay. And it is. Do you think that you were so young when you were introduced to Xanax and Percocets that's why you feel okay, because that's what you remember as a good feeling?
Yeah, I think that's just my brain is wired that way. I mean, it's not necessarily a good feeling; it's just normality. I was sober the last time that I had any substantial amount of sobriety was 3.5 years, and I took to the bed. And what that means is exactly what I went to. I could not work anymore. It was too much for me. The anxiety, the mental health, it had taken over. I went to my father's house. I commenced to eat 11 pills a day. I commenced to stay in the bed. I would leave the house only to go to doctor's appointments and only to go to the grocery store because he forced me once a week on a Sunday and just have some kind of repetition in my life. I was miserable. I was overweight. I was over medicated, and I was half dead. Smoking 2.5 packs of cigarettes a day, 5 foot nothing, over 200 pounds. And I remember waking up and I kept thinking, I'm either going to smoke meth or I'm going to kill myself. And I was good with it. And so that's exactly what I did. I mean, I'm here, and that was maybe 5-6 years ago now. I'm not advocating that people should smoke meth. That's not my message. My message is to do whatever works for you within the reason. Because had I not, I would still be on all that medicine. And I started smoking marijuana. I replaced a lot of that medicine with marijuana. And that helped me tremendously. I'm all about advocating for marijuana. As far as the stimulant goes, I would like to say that meth is nothing what it was 20 years ago. Nothing like that. It's not that intense at all. It's basically, to me, like a mild stimulant. I use in the morning, sometimes the middle of the day, late afternoon. I spend up maybe $5 to $10 a day on it at that. Yes. Thank you. Right on. This stuff saves lives, man. Period.
I know. Well, I'm actually from California.
Okay.
And coming out here, seeing how they are about it, and we're over in Indiana, it's like so illegal. It's just foreign to me. I'm like, you can literally walk in any store anywhere over there and just buy it.
Absolutely.
If you're over 21.
Yeah. Yep. As it should be. As it should be. I don't think, my father recently passed of cancer. And I don't think that my father, they could have just given him any painful that he wanted. And he told me, what helped him more than anything was his edibles.
Yeah. What would be a happy medium to where you could do what you wanted to feel good, but not be in like this situation?
I would say, for me, it would be just some sort of and also I've developed narcolepsy through the years. So now I'm essentially just falling asleep everywhere. So I just think, at this point, I have managed to get my loans and things taken care of, so I am back in school.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm back in school waiting on some loans to come in and my grants and stuff and all that. And I just want to meet people where they're at, man, and help people and not, harm reduction is a beautiful thing, and for even myself, I have a 19-year-old daughter, and trying to rewire our thinking as a society is more into harm reduction and just meeting people where they are and loving them where they're at. If they don't want to be sober, okay. As long as they're not, out here blatantly, purposely hurting folks, then let's let that go. Let go of the lie that you have to be sober to be a decent person, or you have to be sober to be helpful, or to be worthy of help. That's bullshit.
Yeah, everybody's
How
worthy
many
of
how
help.
many productive addicts do you know?
Every addict I know is productive, because if they weren't productive,
Their life is fulfilled and they're proud of
no,
where they're at.
no, they're not proud. They're very ashamed because of what the stigma in the society has put on them.
So without that, then you could say they would be happy, healthy.
I would say at least 70%, 70 to 80%. I would say so. You get rid of the stigma and the shame, and I mean, these guys, they go out and the things, how hard they work, and the time they put into work, and just the solutions they come up with without having cars, showers, something to eat, somewhere to store their clothes, things like that. They're putting in 100 times more work than someone who's in a home, has a vehicle, has a bus pass that's paid for. Their works and their efforts are unmatched. They have to be, because it's harder on them to have the basic needs.
So, because of probably the mental health and the need to be on a stimulant or whatnot, it might be counterproductive, because then that makes it harder actually for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad coping mechanism, because along with that comes more problems.
Right.
Usually.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that
Catch-22. Like, you want to have a home and a family and whatever, but then if you are always
That's the thing about drugs; they work.
Yeah.
But they have bad side effects.
And that's our drugs at the drugstore do it. They would give them drugs. And that's the thing. I think if we decriminalize drugs, and this is just some kind of theory that I've come up with lately, if we take the criminalization out of drugs, and that's going to take the money out, and that's going to take the need out. And so if you take the money and the crime out of it, and no, there's not.
Quality control.
Yes, quality control. I was telling her about the numbers in Amsterdam. Quality control, I think, is exactly what it should be. It's not. It's a matter of being responsible with anything that you do, and learning what works for you, and just learning to love yourself, man. I couldn't even think about any quality control when I didn't love myself. When I was so tore up and beaten up by everybody else's expectations that I didn't even know what mine were. But yeah, quality control for sure.
Well, I have heard recently that Kentucky, at least, and I think maybe Indiana, is recovery over incarceration.
Yes.
So at least they are putting a step forward in realizing that it's a mental health problem issue that needs to be addressed rather than punishing people.
Yes.
So at least that's a good step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My judge was a alternative sentencing judge out in Bullitt County. The man changed his life. He changed mine, and several of my peers. He's changed lives, and he does it. He does it just for everyone. And the alternative sentencing is definitely, I think, the right direction, for sure.
Well, what happened to your shoes?
Well, what happened to my shoes is I was over at a person's house, and they let me take a shower and stuff, and that was really nice of them. They had a pet bull, a baby pit puppy, and I wasn't thinking, and I left my shoes, and so the puppy got my shoes. So yeah. Yeah. So you can't really be mad,
That's better than if you fell asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you going today? Like, do you have your bag?
Oh, I'm gonna do homework.
Okay.
I'm gonna do homework. I hadn't had a device for whatever reason. People taking it, me losing it, falling asleep, whatever. So anyway, at any rate, I'm a little behind on my homework, but I'm gonna play catch up this weekend and go to the library and just kind of focus on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are you going to school for?
Well, because of the felonies and things, my criminal record in this state, human studies, psychology with emphasis on human studies, and so it's just basically I'll be licensed and have a degree to help people like me.
Where would you see yourself getting a job, or would you want to open like your own center?
I'm not really sure. I just kind of I'm kind of a free spirit, and so I just kind of, go where the need is, wherever I'm needed.
But where, like I would say, is where would you use that degree that you're
Oh.
going to get and the knowledge you're going to gain? Where would you put that back out?
I would like to just come to the streets, man. I want to be out and doing outreach, to come out to the streets and help addicts and homelessness and women. I did notice this. Like I said, my daughter's 19 years old. She's also a fentanyl addict. I've never really been drawn to children. Never really been my thing. But the need for the youth services in this state is astounding. It's staggering that there's nothing for these children. There's one thing, and it's a mental health hospital that hosts kids that are adolescent ages, say 12 to 18. One place in the whole state that I'm aware. No, it's the Brook at the Brook KMI. That's the only place that will offer for substance abuse to these kids. And I'm talking about, I've seen children 16 years old addicted to fentanyl, and I think that's where the need needs to be met.
Where's your daughter?
Right now, I'm not sure where she is. She's had brain surgery and been in ICU. Yeah.
From an overdose?
Well, no. The brain surgery is her and I have this condition called Arnold Chiari. Now, I should have had my surgery years ago. She's just braver than I am. And she was trying to stay out of jail, so she went and had brain surgery. So anyway, but the ICU is because of a miss. 19 years old, using intravenous heroin, and the person that did this to her shot her up with 90 cc's, which is an entire syringe, if you know what that is. That's
90 units.
Yeah, 90, yeah.
Yeah, it's just 90% of 1 cc.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was, yeah. So thank you. And she was sepsis within 2.5 hours.
Oh,
They missed. She'd been in jail and been in the hospital. So she comes out, and it's odd to me.
So he missed, and
She
that
did
gave her
sepsis.
she got sepsis.
Within 2 hours. I get home, and she's, burning up, throwing up, and she just is out of it. And then I could tell that something was wrong, and I kept saying, Trinity, if you're shooting up, you need to tell me. You're going to have to tell these doctors. You have to tell the truth, or you're going to die. I got her to the hospital, and they told me had I not brought her in that night, she'd be dead. So, yeah. But she then has since taken herself to the needle exchange, and she's advocating to be safe for herself. She realizes how important it is, and I'm so grateful that those resources are there for her. So grateful. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
So where do you have a home still as of right now?
As of right now, we do. I'm trying to get us out of the state because something like that is extremely scary to me. And I know it's not a geographical thing, but I know that anytime that I've left Louisville, I've seemed to do better. And nothing against Louisville. It's just someone that's not from Louisville. I'm sure if they come from where they're from and they come to Louisville, they'll have a great experience. Right. Yeah. And then a lot of people in recovery, and I met a lot of people. I know a lot of people that aren't from here that have done great. But I just think getting out of here would do her and I both a world of good.
Yeah, get away from.
Yeah, because it's not following us.
Where do you want to go?
I want to go to the beach. I don't care what beach. I don't care if it's Cali. I don't care if it's Maine. I don't care where. Just the beach.
Have you been to California?
No.
I would advise against it.
It is just like anywhere else.
It's a desolate wasteland.
Really?
It's not nice.
Really?
The ground is, I don't know, concrete sand, I guess you'd call it. There's no grass.
The homeless
it's
is very bad out there.
Yeah.
Homelessness. I came here to visit, and I was born and raised there.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my gosh, this is where it's meant to be. But we went back for my work trip, and he had never really been either. And he was like, This is what it is like now. He's like, I want to go back home where there's life and it's green.
Yeah, there's no life.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a desert. I mean, maybe up north it would be that way. In Vegas too.
Yeah, I went to Vegas for the first time. That's as far as west as I've been. At
It's
21.
not like the big top. It's little and
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is okay. Yeah, there was weed everywhere, and I remember that part. Yeah. But
I haven't been to North Carolina or Virginia Beach or any of that, but
I've never been to
I
Virginia.
want to.
That's where I'm looking to go. Is Virginia Beach? I've never even been.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just move it.
Yeah.
Why not?
There you go.
Why not?
There you go.
You only get one life, Ben.
Yeah. When are you guys planning on going?
I'm in the works now. I've got most of the house packed up. And hopefully by October 1st, I will have my feet in sand. And then it's funny because Trinity and I were homeless right after my dad passed from cancer, and we were walking through here, and I told her, I said, kid, in 3 years we're both going to be in school, and we're going to have our feet in the sand somewhere. She said, you're crazy. I said, and that's why it'll work.
And you're almost there.
Almost.
Do it.
Almost.
You guys should do it.
Yeah.
What do you do for your income right now?
I don't have any income right now. I mean, essentially school, I'll start getting some loans and scholarships and grants with that. And then, hopefully her and my disability will kind of go ahead and take over, but it's just,
You haven't got your disability yet?
we don't have disability, and I've went sometimes 4+ months without benefits, whether it be paperwork or
So what do? They send you paperwork so you'll get it, and then they send you that you need something, they'll stop it, and then they'll give it back to you.
And then they'll have you reapply, and so if you reapply, then all those 2 or 3 months, because that's one of the things that is my problem, the ADHD and things like that. So getting all that stuff in and getting it taken care of is something that where I fall short, and so it's affecting us greatly. But anyway, and so they'll cut that off, and so it stays 3 months. Well, they start a new application for the 3 months that you didn't have any food. You're not getting any of that money or benefits back either. And then so she's turned 19. It even went so far as I've had to fight with these women and these people at this office about what the federal laws are and the KRS statutes and this and that. And I've been met with great resistance and very little accommodation and help. It went so far as to me having to contact the governor last year.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get a hold of him?
I got a hold of somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that worked out for about 6 months.
So it helped you, that's good.
It did help. And occasionally you get the few that are really there to help. But just like, I was talking to someone yesterday. I called a 1-800 number and I was like, sir, I don't want to do treatment in my state. And I have state funded insurance. So what places do you know of that offer scholarships, or what are your solutions to that? And he says, I don't know. I said, oh, I know you don't, because you're not trained to know.
Right.
I said, and that's what we need. It's okay not to know, but I need that one person that's got that fire and then is not going to accept. Yeah, that really wants to help.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's not an answer. No, it's not an answer. I don't either. And
I'm not really sure, but I can find out for you and get back to you and actually follow through.
Yeah. Yep. But I mean, they're overworked. They're overworked, and a lot of them are unmedicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably be a whole lot happier if they just smoke.
What is one thing that you could say to people for a message that you'd want to get out there?
Just love yourself. Love yourself. And that's taken me anywhere I needed to go. But I had to become a person that I liked, not what they liked. Not what society liked, and not what society told me to be, but what I liked.
Right.
And what I was okay with, and what was made me happy, and what was comfortable with me, and the way that I treated other people. Not how I was expected to like this person if they had a good job, or if they were coming from a social statue, or if, no, not if. Love yourself.
Yeah, we're all the same, right?
Yep.
No matter where we are in our walk at this life.
Yeah.
We're all humans. We all have feelings. We're all the same.
Yep. Change you for you.
Do you have a cash app?
I do.
Can you tell us what it is?
I just got a new one actually. It's time. So the money symbol TYMES 4, the number 4 tip.
Can we see that?
Sure. Times for tip.
You never know who might see this video. They might help you get to Virginia Beach.
Let's go. Thank you.
If you went to Virginia Beach and got to leave this behind, what would you say that you would do there? Like once you got there, you put your toes in the sand for a little bit.
Yeah.
What would you guys do?
Just start talking to people and just seeing where the need is, what the people need, what they want, where they're at, what they would want to change, what they like, and then just try to build from that. Numbers. You know, my dad used to say he was a percentage man, and numbers don't lie. And I'm not a math person by no means, but just to really get out and meet people where they're at, and just figure out, you know, talk to them. Just sit and talk to them. I told my Suboxone doctor 3 years ago, I said, you know, if it helps, for what it's worth, follow me with impunity and get some solutions.
Right.
Find some solutions. Because this shit ain't working.
Well, I think if you get into a different environment, hopefully, and with your daughter, you're a really nice person.
Thank you.
I can tell you mean well.
Thank you.
And that I think you can touch a lot of people and help a lot of people.
Thank you.
At least be happy with themselves and love themselves. And,
Yeah.
yeah. I think you guys are going to do great.
Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
I really do. Thanks for what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, we're trying.
That's right. That's all we got.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us and being willing to.
You're welcome.
I think just that video alone is going to reach a lot of people and
I hope so.
help people.
I hope so.
Yeah. That's good. I'm happy we saw you. We were just driving by and looked, and I was like, I think that's a person sitting over there. But you're so little and in that chair.
Yeah. The chair is just, I mean, it was perfect, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you have what you need almost at all times. Yeah, it was. It was. I like it. Thanks, guys.